Hi guys, Steve Good here with Scroll Saw Workshop. I guess if 1975 was the year of the pet rock, then 2017 is going to go down as the year of the fidget spinner and all the other little fidget devices that came out all over the country over the last few months. And what I've done here tonight is I've built what I'm calling a desktop fidget spinner. And just give you a quick example here. Kind of an interesting little motion to watch. Some people might call it a kinetic motion machine, but it's pretty interesting. You can set it on your desk and just when you get bored, reach up and watch the motion. I want to point out some features of this and how it was built. This shaft right here, which is a 1/4 inch dowel, and you can see right here if you look closely that it actually has a 1/8 inch dowel inserted into the center of this 1/4 inch dowel to hold the what we'll call blades in place. Each of these blades has a hole drilled in it that's slightly larger than the 1/4 inch dowel that we're using, and that dowel goes all the way through the back of the board that's holding it all together. So we've got a dowel that runs all the way through here, and all these blades pivot around that dowel. So the bottom hole on all the blades is drilled a little bit larger than 1/4 inch thick, and I'll have those dimensions in the plan. The top hole of all the blades after the first one, you can see the first one, the top hole is still freely spins on this dowel rod. The top hole, the hole that the dowel is in, which is still a 1/4 inch dowel, is drilled just slightly smaller than the 1/4 inch, so these dowels can be pushed into them and act as the pivot point. Not the pivot point, but the place where the blade before it actually contacts it and starts to move it. So you can see as we move this around, it comes around and hits the next dowel, comes around and hits the next dowel, and continues that motion until it gets all the blades moving in that direction. So these dowels are actually just a press fit, but they're in there tight, they won't move. So you have the top dowel of each of these blades has a dowel that, as you can see, it doesn't stick out past the edge, the front edge of the blade in front of it. And again, those dimensions will be in the pattern. So pretty simple to make. You just cut out the blades, drill the holes. You just have to be careful to make sure that the holes are drilled to where, you know, the pivot holes are nice and smooth. You might even consider putting a little wax on this dowel rod right here to make it stay nice and smooth. Some people that I've seen that make these also put washers between each one of these. I didn't find that necessary. It seems to work fine without that. I was pretty careful to use a pretty tight grained wood. In this case I'm using maple, and sanded it to where it's pretty smooth, and the motion of it is working pretty well without having to separate them. The bottom and the back are both cut from 1/2 inch thick material, and you can see that the bottom piece has a tab and slot and tab construction. That's just to help hold it in place a little bit. And technically, if you were very careful in all these cuts, you wouldn't need any glue anywhere. I did put a little glue right here to hold this in place, but if you get this slot and tab to be a real tight friction fit, then you could probably get it away without any glue at all. I also did not put any finish on this piece. I just left it all natural. I didn't want the finish to interfere with the motion of the kinetic sculpture. So it's just all plain wood. Again, if you had any problems with these blades warping on you, you might want to be careful about your wood choice, just to make sure these are all nice and flat before you cut them out. Okay, I'll back up here, give you one more look at it, and I hope you enjoy this pattern, and I'll catch you next time here at Scroll Saw Workshop.